time once again for Inside Athletics, brought to you by the IAAF. I'm your host, Atto Bolden, and this week I talked to a man who is changing the track and field landscape in the state of Arizona, John Godina. John Godina, three-time world champion, 4 if you count indoors, 2-time Olympic medalist. Tell us where we are.
You're at the World Athletics Center in Arizona. Doesn't everybody know about it?
No, it's important for me to ask you that because I remember when you retired, it was the John Godina World Throw Center.
Yep.
But it's evolved into something else. What has it evolved into?
I guess it would be called a private Olympic training center of some sort. You know, it's kind of grown itself in the way that I wanted it to, which is let's build a brand in the throws. Let's test our models for education and learning, and then let's reapply it to all the other event groups and find great coaching talent to apply it. And it's done what we want it to this point, and it just continues to gain momentum.
Now, you're one of the athletes of my generation. Frankie Fredericks comes to mind. Michael Johnson comes to mind, who I look at you and what you've done post-career, and I say, you know what? That's pretty much a model. And now I get a lot of people asking me, you know, about how I made my transition. Tell me about how you made your transition. What if you had to give somebody some advice in terms of making that transition from career to post-career, what would it be?
I'd say, especially for the elite athletes, for the most part, we see it winding down. Very few of us have traumatic injuries that just ended.
Right.
So my advice is that last year or two, really be thinking and really start building yourself that exit strategy and start building up something else. You know, everybody understands that the body doesn't last forever.
Right.
Nobody's going to fault you for working on development projects and moving on to the next stage in your life as a transition during your last few years. There's no reason why elite athletes need to wear their body out and sit there for a year or two trying to figure out what's going on in life.
Now, I remember getting ready for the semifinals of the NCAA 200 meters in Knoxville, Tennessee, 1995. Can you remember back that far?
Barely.
Okay.
I think.
And this guy's throwing the shot.
Who?
Some guy. And the shot comes like out. The shot put lands so far, it literally hops the little barrier, and now it's headed to us, and we have to like skip out of the way. It's a 22-meter throw. Tell me what the feet and inches is for that.
72.2 1/4.
Okay. And it's still the collegiate record.
That's crazy.
If you could talk to that obviously was you. If you could talk to that guy now, what would you tell him about what to expect in his career, some things you might have done differently?
I don't know if I'd do anything differently.
Really?
Here's the thing is that I perennially lived in fear of failure, and I think that's what made me succeed. And for me to go back in time and tell myself, hey, relax and enjoy it,
right,
wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have worked for you.
Wouldn't have worked for me. And that's the nature of my personality. Finding problems, nitpicking things, get the solution, and always anticipate what's wrong and then fix it. Everything that I did from that point forward, I'll tell you what, I took the times to enjoy when I needed to,
right,
and I took the time to stress out when I needed to. I am just thrilled to death for that experience. Of all of the things in my life that matter the most as far as track and field, that collegiate championship is probably the biggest one.
It also got you to cover track and field news.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. It's bigger, and I know it sounds crazy to people.
But you're a world champion. How is a collegiate record bigger than a world title for you? You have 2 Olympic medals.
Well, that's the thing is it's hard to explain, especially to people that haven't competed in the major American collegiate system, how important it is to young athletes here. And the other thing is that when that year started, I essentially was faced with something that people thought was impossible. There was a man that had won 3 consecutive national championships coming back for his last year. And he was fully capable of throwing much further than I had thrown. And you know, all of the confluence of circumstances made it feel like such an impossibility, but something that still had to be done. From that point forward, the rest of the career, World Championships, Olympics, truthfully, as crazy as it sounds, it was pretty easy.
That's icing on the cake.
That year was everything.
Wow. You were a Mr. Football in Wyoming. You were very, very good at football.
That was all right.
You and I were teammates of one Jonathan Ogden, who's in the Hall of Fame.
He's all right.
Yeah, he's okay. Yeah, Big O. He's, Super Bowl champion, one of the best to ever play his position. Are you just that smart where you said, you know what, I want to have my body and my wits about me when I'm 40? Why did you give up football to just do the shot put in the disc?
It's a different kind of pursuit. First of all, the one thing I tell people all the time is, if you miss the chance to go do a team sport, then you're missing out on something. I think every young kid should do a team sport and an individual sport. But I knew that the way my brain worked, the individual sport is what was going to satisfy me for the long haul. There's something about the puzzle. There's something about the accountability that's just different.
Yes.
And I needed that for intellectual stimulation, I think. You know, it's something that is inherent in my makeup, that team sports were fun. Loved the camaraderie, loved the social aspect and the psychology of it. Wasn't too thrilled about not being in control.
Right. So let's talk state of the sport and current athletes. The U.S. has had, even since your retirement, the U.S. has gone on quite a low roll between Adam Nelson and a lot of the other guys who have sort of picked up your mantle and done very well with it. But they haven't won that Olympic gold for some reason.
Or did Adam?
Right. Yeah, there's a chance that Adam maybe awarded that goal. That's for another show. What has it been like for you to watch this current crop and where they've taken the sport and the event?
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I think, you know, when Adam showed up and then Christian showed up, I knew, you know, this is going to be tough. These guys are good.
Yeah.
And they kept being good and they kept being good. So it wasn't just a flash in the pan. And the one thing that they have done is they've raised the visibility of the whole thing. You know, I think that with myself, Adam, Christian, and then all of a sudden Reese rolls in on the backside.
Right.
You had 4 guys fighting for 3 spots, and in a country where you could have 7 guys that could maybe make an Olympic final.
That's right.
You know, it's a ridiculous situation here in America with the shot put. And I'm proud that those guys have been able to do it for so long and do it so well. And I think, you know, what it shows you when you look at the records of everybody, and everybody pretty much has 1 world championship out of the group. Reese has 1, Adam has 1, Christian has 1. And
world championships they have.
Yeah, exactly. And Adam has possibly
he should get the gold. I'll just say it, yeah.
But the one thing it shows you is that, you know, it's tough to win.
You think?
I mean, it's really tough to win, and it's really tough to win. And the one thing that, you know, you get a lot of ridicule for these guys not winning Olympic gold medals, but it's very much like Southeast Conference football. These guys are beating each other up all year. Then they got to go to a trials or a world champion or a U.S. championship to go to the world championships. It's unlike the stress levels that any other shot putter has out there, because it's so brutal all year. And then, you know, at times does the performance at the Olympics or Worlds seem a little bit behind? Yeah. Are there reasons why that could be the case? Yeah. You can't complain about their competitive ability, because they go out and beat people up all year, and they've all got world championship gold medals. So, you know, what's the X factor? We don't know yet. You know, we'll look back on it in time and figure it out. But I think that they have nothing to be ashamed of as a group. I think they're amazing.
Well, all the best. Seems like you're well on your way, man. Good to see you.
Nice seeing you, brother.